Absolutely delighted now to be joined by David Schwartz, who's Head of Global Policy at Cigna. David, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Head of Global Policy, just give us a little taste of what that means.
So across the enterprise, we try to monitor all sorts of trends, legislative trends, regulatory trends, domestically and internationally. I work in Washington, D.C., so obviously a lot of focus on Congress and the administration and what it means for our business and hopefully what our business can do to help shape policy.
So one of the main things, obviously, from your perspective in this last year has been healthcare reform. So could you give us a little bit of a snapshot of what has happened?
Sure. So Congress tried to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. Spent a good portion of the year working on that, and they were not successful. But lots of discussion about changes to the ACA as it's known. There's now potential for a bipartisan, much smaller package that they're calling a market stabilization package, try to shore up the individual market in particular. That's currently working its way through Congress, and we'll see if they're able to get it done this year. Additional activity coming out of the administration, in particular an executive order about a week and a half ago, focused on other parts of the insurance market, association health plans and short-term limited duration plans and health reimbursement accounts. So a lot of that focused on the large group market. We will see additional regulatory activity on all of those issues coming out of the relevant government agencies over the next few months.
From an observer's point of view, is it a little bit of a jumble of sort of things going on? So what do you think is going to come next?
So I think we'll see a renewed push for repeal and replace, most likely in 2018. Hard to know what the outcome of that will be. I think a continued pressure for trying to help bring stability to the individual market in particular, a focus hopefully on increased choice and increased affordability. And then with a political season starting with an election cycle in 2018, sort of probably everything thrown into the mix at some point.
Well, from Cigna's point of view, what are your priorities for 2018?
So Cigna has a long history of supporting, every individual's access to high quality, affordable coverage, sure, regardless of the source of that coverage, whether it's an employer, a government program, or through the individual market. And so that continues to be a big driving force for us. We believe in choice, we believe in trying to meet people where they are and help them improve and maintain their health. So it's treatment and prevention. Working with employers, working with other insurers, working with the government, right? We have a very complex system here in this country, and so a strong partnership across all stakeholders is very important.
So a lot of people who are watching the program will be kind of a little bit wondering what it is that they should be doing next. So what should employers be doing?
So that's a great question. Right now, the Affordable Care Act is still the law of the land, and all of the rights and requirements that it contains continue to be enforced today. So employers still need to comply with the mandate, for instance, and the reporting requirements. They need to think about complying with the Cadillac tax, which is targeted to take effect on January 1st of 2020. And even though more than half of employers predict that their plans will trigger the tax, and Cigna and a whole group of like-minded entities are trying to fight for repeal, it is still important for employers to think about complying with it. It's still on the books, as they say. Wellness programs is another thing employers should be paying attention to. There's a lot out there, but I think those are sort of the big ones.
And I guess my final question would be, it's quite a daunting list. What are some of the resources, what's some of the help available for employers to be able to do that?
So we at Cigna are very proud to offer some valuable resources. We have a website called informedonreform.com, and there's a wealth of information for employers there. We also have a really great interactive tool called Your ACA Roadmap, where if an employer enters certain demographic information, it will help them better understand what their compliance burdens are for the ACA and for some of the individual policies that I mentioned.
Well, David, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to join us and go through all that, and best of luck with it for 2018.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.